Welcome back, everyone. It's a case that's rocked the world of gymnastics. It has us talking today. Many are wondering, why didn't more of Larry Nassar's victims come forward sooner? A local former gymnast who we're calling Jessica for safety reasons recently sat down with me. She says she was molested as a child and soon learned she wasn't the only one. She's sharing her story to help us understand why kids may not come forward and what signs parents should be looking for. Here's her story. When did you know gymnastics was your sport?
I think right around the age of 9 or 10, it was pretty apparent that this was something that I deeply loved.
Jessica says the high-flying, tumbling world of gymnastics quickly became her life. At one point, she wanted to be the best of the best. While we're used to seeing the nation's best gymnasts put on a brave face on these mats, Jessica never thought she would see some of those brave faces in a courtroom taking on convicted molester, now former USA Gymnastics and MSU doctor Larry Nassar. Jessica says the Nassar case is stirring up memories of abuse when she was a youth gymnast.
I was fairly young. A close friend of mine and my sister were also, they were younger than I was when they were molested.
Is it hard for you to say that word?
It's a hard word, yes. It's not something that I guess even at this point in my 40s that I'm all that comfortable with.
Jessica says the world of gymnastics introduced her to her molester, someone she trusted, someone she thought was helping her achieve her goals.
Larry Nassar was a doctor. Tell me about your molester.
Our coaches, two of them were apparently child molesters because many years later is when I found out about my sister and my friend.
Jessica says her coach touched her inappropriately when she was 13. Another coach molested her sister and her friend.
Your sister? How old was she?
She was much younger. I'd say she was 10 or 11.
And your friend?
Well, I'm going to say, probably 12, 13, 14. I think that was it was an ongoing situation.
When your sister told you what had happened, did you have any thought that I need to tell our parents now?
I did think that, but I didn't.
Did she tell you, don't tell anyone else?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And did you feel that you had the sense of obligation?
I absolutely did. I mean, this was a sister secret. This wasn't something that we were going to let out.
So why didn't Jessica speak out about her molester? She doesn't really know why. Experts say it's hard for victims to choose between pushing away their molester and protecting the person who says they care about them. Jessica says her molester was helping her become an elite gymnast.
You don't want a coach that you know and love in some, maybe not so good way to be, fired or not be your coach anymore.
Jessica says back then she didn't see any signs that her friend was being targeted and molested. And now looking back, she says there were red flags.
You felt that certain people on the team were being showed favoritism. That was your friend.
You look back and you realize that's what probably was going on, is there was some grooming, as they say.
Jessica says parents need to monitor extreme favoritism, saying it resulted in other gymnasts becoming jealous and resentful, isolating her friend even more.
There was extreme jealousy and potentially some isolation and some not understanding why there was so much attention directed toward her. It was very noticeable. I think that he wanted to isolate her, and I think he wanted to make sure that he could continue that relationship. As parents, we're always happy when someone shows an interest in our kids, because that just means that it's one more adult who's willing to spend their resources and their time with a kid. Oh, maybe they're very talented, or something. You think that there must be a bigger reason for it, when I think in reality it can be something as nefarious as, they just want to get that kid alone so that they can do bad things.
Do you think that could be said for any type of other sports or activities?
I would imagine that it goes on in other sports.
Reports state not all of Nassar's victims were gymnasts. Some were involved in other sports, including soccer, softball, even basketball. Many victims said they didn't speak up because it was difficult to accept they were a victim.
I think parents need to be aware that these things do happen, and that it can happen to your kid, and that sometimes that kid won't even know what happened.
And know that it was wrong.
I guess, yeah, exactly. You just don't even know what it was, much less that it was a terrible, wrong thing.
Do you wish an adult or someone else would have seen something
would have asked you if something was wrong?
That probably would have changed several people's lives. These girls are amazingly courageous and brave to have stood up like they did. And I'm sure they got a lot of strength from each other. And if we had known, if we had been able to get strength from each other, I'm sure that the outcome would have been a lot different.
Now, the coaches in this case have not been charged, so we are not releasing their names. Jessica's message to parents: keep an eye out for odd relationships and ask questions. To victims, don't be afraid or ashamed to speak up. We did speak with a sex abuse counselor yesterday on our show. That interview is on our website, KRQE.com.